Welcome to the session, the trigonometric part 3 session. Today, what we're going to be talking about is, we'll be discussing about your, just a moment, there might be some issue. Yeah, things are fine. So we're going to be discussing about primarily three things today. We'll talk about your heights and distances. We'll also talk about inverse trigonometry, and we'll try and finish or try and do a few questions on solution of triangles as well. But before moving on to all those topics, let's get started with something which we discussed in the previous class. See, this was a question which we were doing towards the end of the previous class. Let's quickly complete this question. And welcome to the session, guys, every one of you. Meanwhile, people will also join, so that will be amazing. So let's see, over here, we already did half of this question in the previous session. So let's quickly go through it again. Over here, we need to figure out how many solutions are there. So we'll try and expand it. Hi, Ashima. So this will be sine x. This you can see can be written as 4 sine x cos x. Right? And this, once I expand, this turns out to be minus 3 sine x plus 4 sine cube x is equal to 3. This has been given to us. Over here, if I just reshuffle it, it turns out to be 4 sine cube x minus 4 sine x cos x minus 2 negative 2 sine x is equal to 3. Yes, 100 subscribers. I can see the chat. So over here, we can take sine x as common. This is what we did in the previous class as well. So this turns out to be 4 sine square x minus 4 cos x minus 2 is equal to 3. Now, if I convert everything in terms of cos inside the bracket, sorry, so we can write this as, so this is how we can convert everything in terms of cos inside the bracket. And if I take the negative as well, or let me take negative common afterwards. So we can put it this way. It's quite simple to understand, right? So this turns out to be plus 2 is equal to 3. Now if I take negative common from here, so this turns out to be, just a moment, there was a slight error out here itself. Ye plus ho jayega, because there was a plus sign over here. I took a negative sign. Unfortunate though, but anyways, I recognized that. So this will turn out to be plus. So over here, if I take negative common, I'll get 4 cos square x minus 4 cos x minus 2 is equal to 3. And now what I can do is, no, this is for JEE 100 subscribers. So over here, I can complete the square of these two terms. So if I apply that, it's negative sine x. So if I apply the same over here, I can say that this can be written as 2 cos square x or 2 cos x whole squared, minus over here, this can be written as 2 times 2 cos x, and then I'll write this as 1 by 2 or just 1, right? Yukta, this is your trigonometric part 3. So we were discussing trigonometric. This is the third class on trigonometry, the very third class on trigonometry, right? I hope this is a good video. Okay. So this turns out to be a square minus 2ab minus 2ab. So I'll say this is 1 square minus 2 is equal to 3. Right, so this turns out to be out here. Wait a minute. And this is what I goofed up with in the previous session as well. So we've taken sine as common, 4 sine square, 4 sine x cos x. Okay, I think so. So anyways, so this is how we can complete the square. And this is negative sine x. I'll put it as it is equal to 3. If I put that negative inside, we'll eventually get something like this. Something like this is equal to 3 upon sine x. 3 upon sine x. Now we all can see that this value will surely be less than or equal to 2. Because we know this is a square term out here. 2 minus something positive will surely be less than or equal to 2. And on the right-hand side, if you see, the values of x were from 0 to pi, from 0 to pi. Therefore, we can say that this value will be between 0 and 1. So 3 upon a value which is between 0 and 1, this will surely be greater than or equal to 3. Greater than or equal to 3. So the left-hand side is less than or equal to t, less than or equal to LHS is less than or equal to 2, and RHS is greater than or equal to 3. Therefore, we can say that there can't be any possible values of x that can satisfy this equation. Yeah. Therefore, it'll be a no solution. This is how we're going to be going about this. Okay. So this was just one question. Now let's get started with the content of today's session, and that's amazing content, which I'll precisely tell you. Most of you might know about it, but still, few things which I would like to. Kalpajit, welcome to the session. See, over here, if I talk about triangle ABC, in heights and distances specifically, you usually get two type of triangles. One, a triangle with 30, 60, 90. 30 नीचे कर लेते हैं. 30, 60, 90. And another triangle which you get will be what? Usually these are the two triangles which you generally get. The other triangle is usually 90, 45, 45. Right? If any angles are being given to you, you'll be given these things. So over here, what you can remember is that the ratio of the sides is fixed. Pradeep, just stay focused. Ratio of the sides is fixed. You can remember for 30, 60, 90 triangle, side in front of 60 degree will have a ratio of √3. This side in front of 30 degree will have a ratio of 1. Side in front of 90 degree will have a ratio of 2. Right? So over here, what all we can remember is AB is to BC is to AC will be 1 is to √3 is to 2. Remember this. This would make things very easy for us. Similarly, this will be 1 is to 1 is to √2. Very basic. Yeah, that's basic. That's true. That is absolutely true. And these are few things which you should remember as well. Yeah. Right. So just remember that this ratio is fixed. 1 is to √3 is to 2. 1 is to 1 is to √2. For example, I'll give you a quick question on this. A quick result, basically. First of all, just listen to it. Just listen to it. If there is, and this is a very frequent figure which you usually get here and there. I'll convert, or I'll just change the color maybe. See, let me just assume that this triangle ABC, this triangle ABCD. So this triangle ABC is 30, 60, 90 triangle. This must be 60 in that case. And this is 60, 90, 30 triangle. So this will be 30. Now, if you talk about the ratios which I mentioned, you can conclude a very awesome result. Kiran, we can talk about those questions on Teacher Connect app if you're there. So over here, side in front of 60 degree, what we can say is, or let me take the larger triangle first of all. ABC, just see this triangle. This is 60 degree. This is 60 degree. So side in front of it, this CB will entirely be √3 in terms of its ratio. I'm just writing the ratio, right? So ratio of this side will be 1 because it's in front of 30 degree angle, this angle. 60 in front of it, √3, 30 in front of it, 1. If I consider the larger triangle. If I consider the smaller triangle, in front of 60, it should be √3. So just to balance out the situation, because ratio could be, you can multiply this by √3, this by √3. The situation will still remain the same if you multiply everything by √3. So what I can do is, I can multiply this by √3, or in fact, I can convert this to √3 and I can multiply this by √3. So I can say, look, this entire length, when CB is 3, then AB is √3. When side in front of 60 degree is √3, side in front of 30 degree is 1. Right? I'm telling you a very important result which you can remember. This BD is 1. This CB is 3. Therefore, you can say this is 2. Hence, what you can remember out here is that BD will always be half of CD. BD will always be half of CD. You usually get such a figure. You can remember this as a conclusion. BD is half of CD, right? On top of it, you usually get one more type of figure. See the figure, you would have seen this figure in many classes. So let me just join these two. Let's say this angle is 30 degree and this angle is 60 degree. In this case, again, you can remember that the ratio out here will be fixed. If I'm saying this is ABC, so this will be 1:3. What do I mean by that? AB upon BC will be 1/3. AB upon BC will be 1/3. Let's see one question, quick question. JEE Mains 2016. Read the question. Meanwhile, I'll draw the diagram. Just quickly go through the question once. I'll just quickly draw the diagram. It's a very simple question. In fact, if you know whatever I just stated, you will be able to solve this question within 5 seconds after completed the reading. Can you guess what is the answer, guys? Oh, I'm so sorry. The points are something else. The points are not CBD. Just a moment. Make the points. So on A, on the path, he observes that the angle of the top is 30 degrees. So this is A. And 10 minutes later at point B. 10 minutes later at point B. This is the top. Right, top of the pillar. At point B. So this, from here to here, he took 10 minutes. So if we took 10 minutes to reach from A to B, how much time will he now take to reach from B to C? Half of it? Because this distance is halved. Yes or no? Hi, Cyber. This distance is halved. Therefore, you can say this will be 5 minutes. Distance half, time will be half. The answer to the question is 5. Constructed the diagram, you have the answer with you. Let's see one more question. Ram. Okay, yeah. Similarly over here, let's have a look. Read the question, please. Naveen, I'm telling you the same. Look, you can solve this question in less than 10 seconds, I believe. If you know this is 10, this will be 5. You have your answer. You don't have to do any math over here. See, let's quickly solve this question as well. This is a 30. So let me just mark these triangles as well. A, B, C are the points. If the angle of elevation of the top of a tower from 3 collinear points ABC. So one point is A, another point B over here, and another point C over here, which makes angle as 30 degree. From B, if I make the angle, from B, Naveen, I've already replied. I'm saying I am telling you few shortcuts to solve these questions only. Few shortcuts to solve these questions only. Right? So over here, this is 45 and this is 60. Hi, Mansi. Welcome to the session. This is 60. Yeah. Now we'll apply the theory of, I'm just naming these points as well. We'll apply the theory of ratios. We'll say, look, basically, if I talk about the largest triangle over here, EAD, according to the ratio, this length will be what? Can anyone tell me? This length will be what? Similarly, we'll talk about this length as well. This length will be square root of 3. Why? Because this will be 60 degree. Side in front of 60 degree will have a ratio length as 60 degree. Thank you, Shrish. Okay, this is root 3 and this is 1. If I compare it with the largest triangle. Now, if I talk about this, a smaller triangle, this was 60, I'm having 1. In front of 60 degree, I should have root 3. In front of 60 degree, I should have root 3. So I'll multiply this by root 3 just to convert it. So I also need to multiply this by root 3 because I need to maintain the same ratio. 1:3, it will still be root 3 upon 3, 1:3. Now, if this is root 3, it's a very simple thing. Once you get expertise on this, it becomes extremely simple. This is 30 degree. If this is 30 degree, side in front of that will be 1. Why E is not 60 degree? Naveen, look, the angles will reduce, right? This is 30 degree, then the angles will increase, in fact. The angles of elevation would increase, right? Okay. Oh, Kiran, come on. You can also watch the recording anyways. Now, if this is 45, if ED is root 3, then BD will have the same ratio. It will also have root 3. This ratio will also be root 3. So now I hope everyone is sort of clear with. I've just written the ratios. These are just the ratios. I'll quickly explain it again, whatever I just stated. Look, this angle was 60 degree. Side in front of it is this entire length over here, right? So this entire length turns out to be root 3 first of all, and side in front of 1, side in front of 30 degree will have a ratio of 1. I can multiply a constant to both the terms so that the ratio remains the same. So I've multiplied root 3 to this as well as to this so that this ratio remains the same. Why did I multiply root 3? Just to concentrate on this smaller triangle, this EDC. If this is root 3 in front of 60 degree, in front of 30 degree, this must be 30 degree, right? If that is 60 degree, in front of 30 degree, it will be 1. So this length is 1. If this length is 1, we can say we are left with just this triangle with 45, EBD. We know if this is 45, the ratio over here is the same. If this is root 3, this must also be root 3. Ratio must be 1:1. So this is root 3. Now what you can do is, the question is asking for the ratio of AB to BC. So what is AB? AB to BC. Whenever the question asks for the ratio, you can figure it out with the help of this. So AB turns out to be 3 minus root 3. 3 minus root 3. And BC, this length, is root 3 minus 1. Hopefully everyone is clear with it. Divided by root 3 minus 1. You can take root 3 as a common. You'll get root 3 minus 1 upon root 3 minus 1, which will get cancelled out. Eventually, you have your answer as root 3 is to 1. That's the answer to the question. Root 3 is to 1, which is A. I hope this makes sense to all of us. So this is how quickly you can do the question. I have one more question for you. See, a bird is sitting, and one more thing is this height set distances is something which you can see appears every year. So I can show it to you. Look, 2016 mains, 2015 mains, 2014 mains, 2017 mains, 2018 mains, there were also questions on it, right? So over here, if you just go through the question once, just read this question once. I'll quickly make the diagram meanwhile. Just once read the question. It's a very simple question to understand and to do. You can also do this question by normal trigonometry, which is surely a case. You can do that. However, if you want to precisely make it simple, this is the way which you can apply. A bird is sitting on top of a vertical pole 20 meters high. So this is the pole, let's say 20 meters high. Bird is sitting over here. Let's say bird is B. And its elevation from point O, from the ground is 45 degrees. This elevation is 45 degrees. It flies off horizontally straight away from point, this is point O. This is point O. It flies off horizontally away from point O. Away from point O. O is this. Away from point O is in this direction. Very good, Naveen and Krish. So away from this direction, it flies towards this, right? Horizontally straight away from the point O, not towards point O, away from point O. That's why I've constructed this. After 1 second, the elevation of the bird from O is reduced to 30 degree. So after 1 second, this angle of elevation is, after 1 second, the bird is at C. Okay, Shreesh. So see, this is how it helps. This is how the story helps. Whatever I just stated. So this is basically root 3. Now what you can say is very simple. It is very simple. In front of root 3, if I talk about the ratio, it's 1:root 3. This entire thing must be root 3 if I'm talking about this largest triangle. Let me name this point as A. ACO. This is root 3, this is 1. Now this was given to us as 20, not 1. Therefore, I'm saying if I'll convert 1 to 20, then this root 3 will convert to 20 root 3. Very simple. This is 20 root 3. And if this is 45, we have 20 over here. Similarly, we're going to have 20 as this length. So if I'm naming this point as D, we know OD is of length 20, right? We had to calculate what? We had to calculate the speed of the bird. So speed will be equal to the distance over here because it is in 1 second, right? We know speed is equal to distance upon time. Time is 1. So speed is equal to distance. So the distance from D to A, we can very easily see is 20 root 3 minus 20. That turns out to be 20 times root 3 minus 1. So 20 times root 3 minus 1. D is the answer. Ashutosh, B is not the answer. The question is, just a moment. Let me see. The speed of the bird is what? Yeah. So bird started from here, went to this place. Started from here, went to this place. In 1 second, the distance from B to C, was 20 root 3 minus 20. 20 root 3 minus 20. The answer turns out to be D. Hopefully everyone is clear with it. Pratham, look, the only tip which I would like to give is focus on few formulas which are very important for you to remember, right? The basic summation formulas, the difference formulas. If I talk about solution of triangles, the formulas based on in radius, circumradius, half angle formulas, those are important formulas. For heights and distances, remember that these are the two triangles that are possible. These are the only two triangles which are possible, and you have a fixed ratio for these two triangles. Fixed ratio for these two triangles. Okay, let's move on. Check out few inverse trigo questions. Now, usually in mains, you get simple inverse trigo questions. You won't get critical inverse trigo questions. A bit critical questions usually come in advanced. In JEE main, you get very simple questions. Let's see. If I talk about this, it's an extremely simple question. What you know is tan inverse y, tan inverse x, and this is what this is, 2 tan inverse x, right? 2 tan inverse x. So if I add, this is 3 tan inverse x, and 3 tan inverse x is what? You know, 3 tan inverse x is 3x minus x cube upon 1 minus 3x squared. So tan inverse y is this, therefore y will be equal to the given stuff over here. I hope this is fine with all of us. The answer will be A. Very good, Ashutosh. Can we some extra time at the end to discuss something related to IT maths? Naveen, I'll try and see, but I don't think so that will be possible. But still, Naveen, if you are a student of Meritnation, in that case, you can get connected with me on Teacher Connect app anytime, anytime. Okay, let's move on. It's a simple question, right? You won't spend a lot of time over here to solve this. Yes. Let's talk about this. This is a decent question. I told you, in advanced, if I talk about inverse trigo, you have sort of a decent questions coming. So if I talk about this question, it says there is a function from 0 to 4 pi. From this to this 0 to pi. It is defined as this, cos inverse of cos x. The number of points in the domain satisfying the equation fx is equal to 10 minus x upon x is what? So over here, whenever you see cos inverse cos x, in that case, think of its graph. So I'll just quickly plot the graph over here. See. It's simple, cos inverse cos x. I hope you know about the graph of it. Okay, this will just move on. Who's JEE Advanced previous year questions? Samir, not exactly, but if you want the previous year questions solution, we have that on our website. So you can refer to that. Okay, so this is 0, this is 2 pi, this is 4 pi. From 0 to pi. This is pi, and this is 3 pi. Right, so this is the graph of cos inverse of cos x. Cos inverse of cos x. Y is equal to cos inverse of cos x. Now, basically, the question is saying that when can this be equal to, tan minus x upon 10? Tan minus x, Krish, what happened? Tan minus x upon x. So these two will be equal when the graph of these two intersect each other. The graph of these two intersect each other. What do I mean by that? If I'm assuming this to be y or y1 maybe, right? And if I'm saying basically, or chalo graph hi banana hai, properly likh lete hain. And the second is y is equal to 10 minus x upon 10. So both of them will satisfy. Adarsh, I understand. But this is something which you can remember as of now, cos inverse cos x. This is what the graph is. I hope you know about solving equations. You can solve the equations if the graph or the intersection of the graphs of these two functions, the left hand side and the right hand side function, will give me the solution, right? So you will say, it can be written, Ashish, but based on its domain, it will be different. You can write it based on the values of x. You can't always put it equal to cos x, right? So from 0 to pi, you can place it equal to cos x. That's why we get y is equal to x over here. And then the lines will shift parallelly. Okay, very good, Abhijit. So over here, if I draw this red line, I hope all of us can see that. Put x is equal to 0, I'm getting y is equal to 1. So 1 is a point that is less than y is equal to 1. 0, comma 1. 1 is a point that is below pi. So 0, comma 1 maybe somewhere here, right? And if I put y is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, in that case, what will be the value of x? So 0, that implies x is equal to 10, right? X is equal to 10. So 10, comma 0, where will be that point? So I'll just write it over here. 0, comma 1 is 1 point on x-axis, which it satisfies, and 10, comma 0 is the other point that falls on the line. 10 is a value that is greater than 3 pi. है ना? 3 pi कितना हो जाएगा? 3 into 3.14, which is less than 10. Therefore, 10 will be somewhere here maybe. So this is 10, comma 0. Now what you can do is you can join these 2 points to construct the line which we have there on board. So I'll join these 2 points somewhat like this. The number of point of intersections which we have on these 2 graphs will give us the number of solutions, So over here, this is 1 point, this is 1 point, this is 1 point, 3 points out here. And then the graph will just move above x-axis. Or we just need to consider from 0 to 4 pi, nothing more than that. Therefore, what we can say is that we have 3 points of intersections. Hence, the answer to the question turns out to be 3. I hope everyone is clear with it. A very simple question, but in a very decent way, you can complete this. This is a JEE advanced question, which you usually have for 3 marks. Okay, so let's talk about this. A very good question. And we'll keep this question to be the last question of the day. A very good question in terms of conceptual clarity. So you must have a great conceptual clarity to talk about this question. It's a multiple correct answer choice, Read the question first. Answer choice. It says, alpha is this, beta is this, where the inverse trigonometric functions takes only principal value. So I hope you remember. Principal value of sine inverse x is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. And principal value of cos inverse x is from 0 to pi. Naveen, that is something which I can't give in such a public domain. So anyways, you can get connected with me. I stated on the Teacher Connect app already. So sine inverse x and cos, these are the domains. These are basically the domains of the principal values. Okay. So over here, if I'm choosing an angle for this or an angle for this, I'll choose it from these 2 domains. So I'll say, okay, if I talk about this sine inverse 6 by 11, right? So in this case, we all know that this value 6 by 11, look, 6 by 11 will certainly be greater than 6 by 12. Yes or no? Because higher the denominator, lower the value. So if I compare it by, Krish, it's a multiple correct answer. If I compare it by these 2, Naveen, principal, you will get to know about these things in class 12. Inverse is a part of class 12. Okay. So if I compare these 2 values, I know that this value is greater than this value. Sine inverse, if I talk about, look, the graph of sine is basically an increasing graph. If it's an increasing graph, therefore the value would increase. So if this is higher than this, in that case, this value will be greater than this. And 6 by 12 is nothing but 1 by 2. Sine inverse 1 by 2 is pi by 6. I hope this is fine. So sine inverse 6 by 11 is greater than pi by 6. This is what we can get from here. Now, if we know this, if I multiply it by 3, I can say 3 sine inverse 6 by 11 will be greater than pi by 2. Or this actually means alpha is greater than pi by 2. So from here, what we know is alpha is greater than pi by 2, just greater than pi by 2. And similarly, we can also talk about the values of cos. The question was referring to cos inverse 4 by 9. Ayush, just a moment. I'll repeat it. Don't worry. So cos inverse 4 by 9. 4 by 9 and 4 by 8, if I connect these 2, 4 by 9 and 4 by 8, if I connect these 2, I know lower the denominator, higher the value. So this value will be greater than this value. Now, you know, from 0 to pi, cos reduces, right? Therefore, if cos inverse reduces, so this value will actually be greater, right? So you can say 4 by 8 is greater than this. 4 by 8 is greater than this because it's a decreasing function. So this value, the lower value will give me a higher outcome. The lower value will give me a higher outcome. Anjani, you can ask that on Teachers Connect app. You shall repeat it, don't worry. So this can be written as is greater than cos inverse 1 by 2. है ना? Cos inverse 1 by 2. Cos inverse 1 by 2, which is pi by 3. So you can say cos inverse 4 by 9 will be greater than pi by 3 every time. Okay, Krish? So 3 times cos inverse pi by 3. What will that be? 3 times cos inverse pi by 3, which is beta, will be greater than pi. Beta is greater than pi. Now you know what is alpha, you know what is beta, then you can compare all these values. So if beta is just greater than pi, can you tell me what will be the cos beta value? It is just greater than pi. Just greater than pi implies it lies in the third quadrant. In the third quadrant, cos is negative. So cos beta is negative. In the third quadrant, sine is also negative. So sine beta will also be negative. If I talk about this, so I'll say sine alpha. Alpha is greater than pi by 2. It lies in the second quadrant. Just greater than pi by 2. It lies in the second quadrant. That implies this will be sine is positive in the second quadrant. Cos is negative in the second quadrant. Therefore, cos alpha will be negative. So if I choose the answers over here, cos beta is greater than 0. No, it's not. So first one is incorrect. Sine beta is greater than 0. Sine beta is greater than 0. Is it? Sine beta is, just a moment. Sine beta is greater than 0. This is also incorrect. Seems to be. Just a moment. Sine beta. Okay. So this is also negative. This was sort of correct. Just a moment. Use just a second, please. Greater than pi, cos beta. Okay, let me park this as of now. As of now, we'll talk about that. Cos in this is true. This is correct. And I'll just confirm. Look, beta is greater than pi. This 3 and 3 gets cancelled out. It is greater than pi. Beta is greater than pi. It talks about cos beta. Cos beta is negative. So this is sort of incorrect. Okay, this is sort of incorrect. And then the question is talking about cos alpha plus beta. So if I talk about alpha plus beta, what will that be? If I add alpha and beta together, alpha plus beta will be greater than pi plus. Is beta less than pi? Let me just check. Just a moment. So no. Okay, it is greater than pi. So pi plus pi by 2, which is 3 pi by 2. So alpha plus beta is greater than 3 pi by 2. Greater than 3 pi by 2. If it is greater than 3 pi by 2, that implies it lies in the fourth quadrant. In the fourth quadrant, cosine is positive. So this is positive. So this is also correct. This is also correct. I'll quickly repeat. See, over here, the question is asking for alpha beta. And the question itself says that the inverse trigonometric functions takes only principal value. So principal value of sine lies from here to here and cos lies from here to here, right? So what we can say is from this place that we know 6 by 11 is greater than 6 by 12. 6 by 12 is 1 by 2, right? If I'm applying sine inverse graph, so sine inverse function. So we know sine inverse function is a increasing function. If it's an increasing function, higher the value of theta or higher the value of the domain, higher will be the result. Increasing function. Ayush, you might not have done increasing and decreasing functions. That's why you might not be very, very clear with that. But wo ho jayega once you will be through with that. So a higher value gives me a higher outcome. So this gives me a higher outcome than in comparison to this. So 3 sine inverse 6 pi 11 will be greater than pi by 2 if I'm talking about 3. And this was alpha. This was alpha. So alpha is greater than pi by 2. Alpha is greater than pi by 2. We can see that. Similarly, if I talk about cosine, so we know 4 by 9, 4 by 9, 4 by 9, and 4 by 8. Lower the denominator, higher the value. This value is higher. This value is higher. Cosine is a decreasing graph. It's a decreasing graph. Therefore, if I apply cosine, the inverse of cosine, then the symbols will change. So over here, a lower value will give me a higher outcome. A lower value will give me a higher outcome. So this will be a higher outcome than this one, which is pi by 3. So this turns out to be 3 times pi by 3. Okay, so beta is greater than pi. Therefore, we can say that beta lies in the third quadrant, wherein cos beta is negative and sin beta is negative. So what we have as the correct answers are C and D. So that's the end to the session, guys. Take care and practice hard. We'll start with a new topic in the next session of maths. Tomorrow it will be a holiday, so you can enjoy. Practice hard and good luck for your exams. Take care. Bye, guys. See ya.